Hello everyone. Welcome back, or welcome if you are new. So today we are going to do my review on the Felissimo Tokyo Seeds. So I want to put out a quick disclaimer on that before we dive into all of this. So the Felissimos, no matter which one, whether you were doing the museum or Tokyo Seeds, they are a subscription. So right now I only have 2 out of the 25 total boxes I will get. However, these are monthly. So I have 2 years and 1 month to complete the full set. So what I plan to do is, today's review is my initial impressions based on the 2 months worth I have. And then every 6 months or so, I plan to update not only on, the new colors and everything I've gotten, and each month I do a swatching no matter what, but I'll kind of go over, how it is now after 6 months and how my opinion may have changed, and kind of just keep updating it as it goes until we hit all 25. So I have 2, that means I have 23 months left to go, so just under the 2-year mark. I should actually be getting my January box sometime at the end of the month. I don't know what it'll be, we shall see. So with that disclaimer out there, now let's jump into the pencils. Okay, so these are the Felissimo Tokyo Seeds. The reason I emphasize Tokyo Seeds is they actually have different subscriptions. Back in the day, they had one where they sent them in tubes by color family, and then another one where they sent like boxes by color family. And those are not the same pencils as the Tokyo Seeds. So these are their latest ones where they've kind of revamped the pencil, gone back and fixed them. The old ones were honestly meant for a display. It is a total of 500 pencils in all of those sets, including this Tokyo Seeds, which you can even see right here. It says 500. Out of those shipments of 25, you get 20 pencils each month for 25 months, and you end up with 500 pencils, which is an insane number of pencils and colors. I can't wait to see it finished. So the old set, though, you'll see some reviews out there on YouTube about those. Don't confuse those for Tokyo Seeds. They're 2 different things. Those old ones were more for a display. I don't know even why they had that, but these Tokyo Seeds are actually meant for coloring, and they're pretty impressive. So I just want to clarify the difference between the 2. If you are looking for the latest Felissimo subscription, these are the ones you would be getting. You can go buy their, I think they call them museum series now. I think you can buy the whole set. I don't know if you can subscribe to that. I didn't look into it. The reason I didn't is they're not good pencils. I've seen reviews. I've seen people swatching them. They're pretty meh, whereas these have been actually redone and worthwhile, depending on who you are, I guess, and your budget and what you want out of them. So let's dive in. Like I said, it's 25 months. You are locked in. You cannot cancel once you sign up for this subscription. So it's really important to decide if you are ready to commit to it, because for 25 months, you're stuck. So it'll be good for you guys to watch this review, because you can kind of get an idea of what you would get, the pencil quality, and just overall, decide, hey, am I ready to actually do this? I will tell you, you can buy the full set of 500 Tokyo Seeds on their website and on Amazon, but you will pay more than if you just do the subscription. I'm not going to pay I don't even remember what it was. It's either like $1,200 or $1,500 on Amazon, something outrageous. I'm not paying that. I'm going to do the subscription. Plus, it's kind of fun. It's a new set of pencils to look forward to every month. And buying them just in bulk kind of kills the excitement of the themes and all the fun like that. But you can totally do that. If you're impatient and don't want to wait, don't want to commit to 25 months, you can buy the full set. I just wanted to do the subscription route and give me, something to look forward to in the mail. So Just want to make that clear, no cancellations. Now let's talk about the pencils themselves. We'll get into pricing and all that loveliness later. So all of the new ones for the Tokyo Seeds are square, which is pretty nifty. At first, I thought these were going to be really hard to color with because they're kind of bulky feeling, but they weren't. They actually felt better in my hand than around because the way it like sits on my finger. I don't know, hard to explain, but it's unique with the square shape and how they fit in these cute little cases. So the pencil itself, like I said, is a square shaped. It is not a color dipped end, so your core is exposed. I have not in these two shipments had any broken or off center cores though, so that's good. The lead is 3.5 millimeters, which is a good size lead. The wood itself of the pencil is made from cedar wood that's actually from the US, interesting enough. So they get their cedar from the US. And it is a wax-based pencil. So it's not oil-based, it's wax-based. But what happens is each month you will get a box. Oops. You know, it's this little plastic case. It has these little divots here to hold your square pencils. And you don't know what it is unless, you know, someone is doing the subscription and shows you what they got. But you'll get this little insert and it'll tell you what numbers you're getting and also the theme. So each month it's a set of 20 pencils with a theme. This one, for example, is Happy Winter. And all of the 20 pencils in there have like names, color names that match the theme. So it is super cute, and you get like this cute little poem with it. You know the numbers. You have a swatch chart included right here. I don't use this though, I make my own. I just used cardstock and wrote down the set name and did that way. But what I do is I end up just folding this and sticking that up front, so when I close it, you know which set it is. So right now I have Happy Winter and, oops, this one is Morning. So I have Happy Winter and Morning. The first set I received was Happy Winter, which was kind of weird because it started me at 181 to 200. Found that kind of odd. And then I got Morning, which is 161 to 180. So it's going, you know, backwards. You can see 181, now we're going back. I don't know why they started me here. And I cannot guarantee that I'll be in the same order, but there are a few other YouTubers that are doing this subscription, and we are receiving them in the same order as each other, but we are also only 2 to 3 months apart from one another. So say you placed your subscription in a couple months from now, year from now, or even today, I don't know if you'll get them in the same order as myself and the other YouTubers that are also doing these. So it's supposed to be random. On their site they even say it's based on supply and demand, and that's how they dictate which set goes your way. But like I said, so far a bunch of us have gotten them in the same order. So I already know what my third box is going to be if they keep to that. Who knows, my third box might not. For swatching them, I ended up creating, with my first set I was kind of like unprepared, so I had this little cardstock, but now for the rest I actually made these little pre-done swatches so that I can swatch them a little faster, and I just keep them in the cases right now. The plastic case is actually pretty thick and durable. I do think over time this plastic hinge would eventually break off and they kind of snap shut with this thing here, but I'm keeping them like this for now until I get a ton more, because eventually I want to put them in color order based on all of them. So when they do arrive, they are in numerical order somewhat. A few of mine have had like skips here and there and it's like underneath. I don't have pencils missing. They're just, you have to put them in order yourself. You can do it by color order of the set, or what I do is I just put them in numerical order. And how it works, like I said, they're themed. So this winter one had like all these, you know, icy, wintry, warm colors, you know, like we had pine for the pine trees, tons of icy blues, and then, you know, a ton of browns. And then this morning one was more pastel and like vibrant. So like, see, check out these colors. I mean, first when I opened this, I was just like, oh my gosh, because it's so cute. But then see the colors here, they're all very pastel and pretty. Some look really close on camera, but I promise you, they're actually pretty different from one another. And it has these colors that I love, so love it. But how they do this is breaking down your 500 pencils, because I know you're probably thinking, 500 pencils, what am I going to get, you know? What, like Prismacolors, well, they're 150. That's still a ton of pencils, although sometimes I find myself going, gosh, I wish they had more. So with the 500 total pencils, you will get 360 basic colors. So I don't know what on earth those shades will be, but think of your Prismacolor set, 150, you know, basic colors, or 150 pencils total, and then just think of your basic colors and what you would get out of that. Instead, we're getting 360 basic colors. Now, we'll also have 140 what they call special colors, and that means pastels, metallics, and neons, like in those categories. So there is going to be a set of metallic pencils. Will all 20 be metallic? I have no idea. That would be interesting. But only 140 out of the 500 are in that special category. I don't know if this set is part of the special category or not. They are pastel. However, some of these colors aren't technically pastel. So in the end, we'll kind of see as I get more. That's why I said we'll keep revisiting and kind of go on that. Luckily, I won't have to personally put them in color order, because there is someone who put these Tokyo Seeds in color order, and I'm going to totally have to print that out, because I was worried. I was thinking, oh my gosh, how on earth am I going to put 500 color? Oh no, can't even think about it. Don't want to. All right, so we get the 500 pencils. Like I said, they are wax-based. They're light fast rating. They do have a light fast rating. It's not on the pencil though, but on their website they say it is according to JIS standards. So it's not the same standards used by like Derwent Lightfast and Luminance. So keep that in mind. All of them do have the name printed on the square barrel, and then you'll have the number, which will be your number and then /500. So that's this one out of 500. On the other end, it just in silver, it's like the worst color, says the 500 colored pencils, Felissimo. They do actually come with a little foamy thing here to protect your leads. I just threw it out because, you know, you can actually see that in my first video, like when I'm unboxing, and you'll see all what they come with. But let's get these off to the side and let's talk quality. So, got my usual sheet. So what are these like? You know, it's hard to say, because I've had a few people ask me, well, are they like Prismacolors, or are they like Derwent Lightfast, or are they like Holbein's? Here's why I say it's hard to compare. Everyone's coloring style is different, therefore what feels like a Prismacolor to me may not feel like a Prismacolor to you. Say you're the ultra layering type of person. How you use a Prismacolor and the properties of that Prismacolor that you appreciate more differ from how I would see it. Like, I like Prismas because I'm a heavy-handed colorist. I'm not really a layering type, so I like to smush it all together, and that's what I love about Prismas. However, I have friends who are more the layering type, and Prismas, they don't see them that way. You know, Prismas aren't exactly the the best layering pencil. They layer great, but I mean, like polychromos, they would prefer that. So that's why I say, when you're asking me what is it like, it's really hard to say. But based on my own coloring style, so knowing that I'm heavy-handed and love to just blend and smush and not layer, I would say they're kind of a cross between your Prismacolors and Black Widows. The more I've played around with them, they kind of remind me of Black Widow, but they're a little bit softer. But not as soft as Prisma. For me, they're definitely not as soft as Prisma. I can't smush them as easily. That said, they blend incredibly well. So let's kind of go over some of the performance. I did my usual 5 layers. You know, with the first layer, you have tons of tooth. And then as I go on, they build up really well. I used just one of the purples from my Happy Winter set. On the 5th layer, ignore my out of the line sloppiness. Too much coffee this morning. The 5th layer, you can still see some tooth in there, but these are all done with light pressure. If this was me actually coloring with it, there would be no layers like that. So I don't do like 5, 6. I don't build up, I just build out. So here is what they look like with each type of pressure. So this is light pressure. Light pressure is when you're kind of holding the pencil as far back as possible and just letting it do its thing on the paper. Medium, you're lower on the pencil with a little more control. And heavy is just me pressing, well, heavy. Self-explanatory on that one, right? So this is kind of the coverage you get with the pressure. The light, they still, a ton of color and pigment gets down with light. Don't get me wrong. And on my swatches, let me get that out too real quick, because I feel that is important. With my swatch chart here, you can see how I would go from heavy pressure to light pressure. I do a gradient when I swatch. So they come down really smooth, and that final layer is pretty smooth too. I gotta give them credit for that. But with the heavy, I still have some tooth that comes through, and they do get a little, you can feel the wax space a lot more when you press heavy. One thing I do want to emphasize though is these are pretty dusty. While they're soft and blend, I have found that they're a lot dustier than Black Widows, and definitely dustier than Prismacolors. Prismacolors are just messy, but they're not like dusty. And the only difference is, you know, with Prismacolors, you get the little wax dust and you brush it off and it tends to smear all over because it's so soft. These don't do that because they're not quite as waxy as the Prisma. Does that make sense? It's, like I said, it's hard to compare based on styles. So here I did a 2-color blend using 2 browns from my wintry looking one. And as you can see, they actually blend really well together. Like, see how that transition just goes? And then that's just me trailing off. But they blend in perfectly. There's like 0 issue there. When it came to blending with blender pencils, this is with the colorless blender, this one right here, and as you can see, it blended out pretty well. You know, the colorless blender does kind of mute your colors in general. That's just what they do. So then on this one, I used the Caran d'Ache Full Blender, which is my favorite blender in the absolute world. I love these things. They don't like scratch off the color and dull it out, but they do add kind of a white finish, or they lighten it a little, I guess is the word. It's so you can kind of see here how it blended, but it still took really well to both blender pencils. I didn't have any issues, whereas with some brands of pencils, if they're not waxy enough, they don't respond very well to the blenders. So that was good. Now my smudgy test, they did smudge quite a bit, but this is me taking my finger and rubbing as hard as humanly possible. Like, see, I'm using a lot of pressure and going back and forth. And so it took a lot of effort. Now, on this heavy one, if I just were to wipe across it, there's no smudge. So these really don't smudge that much. If this was a Prismacolor, I would have a streak like no other. Let me show ya. Put down heavy pressure of a random blue. Whoop. Probably hard to see on camera, but see how it automatically with one thing swiped off, whereas this green didn't. Just something to keep in mind. So they're less smudgy than a Prisma for comparison. All right. Sometimes I do this on camera, sometimes I do it off, but Erasability. Probably thinking, why are there two colors here? It's because I tested with two colors, so I thought I might as well do a lighter and a green. And I got my little no-name battery, or well, it's not battery, it's actually a rechargeable sharpener. For a long time I wanted the Derwent one, and it was always out of stock or hard to get, so I finally bought this. And this thing is awesome. You can charge it USB, and it came with like a bajillion refills. I'm running low, so I need to put one in, but for purposes here, Erasability. All right, we have erased. So as you can see, it still leaves a little bit of the pigment in the paper, not as much on the purple because the purple was lighter, but that is with any pencil. It's not going to be 100% removed, and for a wax-based, these erase really well. So how do they look when you color? I know you see the price here. We'll get to it, don't worry. I did just a little mini page in Fairy Celebrations, if I can open to it. Alright. Now, this was back when I got just my first set, which was the, what did I call it? The first set, Happy Winter. I always just call it the winter set, but my Happy Winter set, I colored a page using only those 20 pencils. This blue is Distress ink, so ignore that, but I used every single pencil from that set of 20 in this picture, and they blended really well. I didn't use any colorless blenders or anything, so they performed really well on this paper, at least from Clara Markova's book, and cute little colors too. But I actually liked coloring with them. I like them a little better than Black Widow. I'd like them a lot more if I had all my colors, because right now I have 40. That's rough. So, you know, the coloring quality is great, and that brings me to one point though. Because you only get 20 at a time, with the sets, they are meant to color together. That said, you don't have a ton to work with. Now in this set, I do have colors I could blend together, and I had that with my Happy Winter as well, but you don't have tons. You'll have like a 2 or a 3 color blend, maybe. Other times you'll have kind of like a rogue color that you can't really blend with anything, and you're just there. Like my newspaper ink, I can blend it with these if I wanted, or use it, layer with it to darken something up, but you are going to have some outliers that just you can't make a gradient with. So keep that in mind. But as you get more shipments, you're obviously going to get more pencils and more opportunities. All right, so the most important question of the day, how much do they cost? You'll see I wrote $41.86 for now. Here's the deal. So when you sign up for these, there is a fixed rate, okay? So it's 2,808 yen. It will always be that for all 25 months. I cannot cancel. So that right now comes out to $27.11 per 20 pack. So each one of these 20 sets is costing me about 27 bucks. Reason I say for now is you have the currency conversion. The exchange rate between yen and USD is not going to stay the same. It fluctuates. So I may be paying $27.11 right now, but when the conversion, the currency conversion changes, that can go up, it can go down. Unlikely it would go down, more likely it would go up. But that is something to keep in mind. You will always pay the same yen, but not the same US dollars or pounds or wherever you're from. If you're in Japan, though, you will be paying 2,808 yen and don't have to worry about currency conversion. Those of us in other countries, though, need to keep that in mind. Also, you do have to pay shipping. That's where the price went up because, the shipping is on top of your monthly subscription. That is not a fixed price. The shipping price can fluctuate and will fluctuate, the more you get into it. So as shipping rates increase, you'll see an increase in your monthly cost. So while the yen price is fixed, for us in other countries, your monthly payment most likely will change. Now, my 2 first shipments were the same. And what's funny is what they charge you, you'll notice like you get a bunch of back charges and changes as the currency conversion works itself out in your bank account, or in my case on my PayPal. But I know I'm not going to pay this for 25 months. The currency exchange rate is going to change. It does. That's just life. And shipping obviously will go up. So that's one thing that is a hard hit with this 25-month subscription. Your price is fixed, sort of, only if you live in Japan. And you have to be ready to commit to 25 months of a kind of uncertain price range. And as you can tell, so if it's $27.11 per pack, which isn't bad for these pencils, but once you factor in shipping, you're almost paying as much for the pencils in shipping. So that is something to consider. This is definitely a collector's type thing for colorists. It's not like buying luminance pencils, It's kind of a fun collection thing to do. That said, I'm going to use them. So I might not use them as often as say a Prismacolor, but a Prismacolor costs me a buck something and change to replace, whereas these do not, and I can get a Prismacolor at Hobby Lobby. I can't walk to Hobby Lobby and ask for a Felissimo. That brings me to another point, open stock. They aren't sold open stock per se. You can contact the manufacturer. So say I run out of Horizon Heat. I can ask and order Horizon Heat. So you can get the open stock by contacting them directly. However, if you don't have a subscription with them, you are paying shipping. So you would want to wait till you have enough to order, or you just order enough open stock in general to justify the shipping, which is 20-ish something dollars. Well, a little under 20 for now. That said, if you have an active subscription at the time, you just let them know and they'll throw those open stock ones into your shipment, and you don't pay extra shipping for the open stock. So as I'm using these, and the more I get, if I do end up getting an open stock one, I luck out and it'll get put in with my batch. I don't know the open stock price though. I shot off an email asking and I hadn't heard back, so I will update the description, or in a later, when I do my updated review, let you know what that is, because I'm not quite certain just yet. So what do I think of in terms of pricing, if these are worth it? These are really expensive for what you get. The light fast rating, like I said, I can't compare it to the Luminance and Derwent. I could if I wanted to go literally look up JIS standards and compare that to the standards used for other brands. I just don't feel like doing that. You're more than welcome to go for it though. Good luck. So you are paying quite a bit for these, but most of it is the shipping factor. Obviously, depending on where you live in the world, the shipping is going to influence it. So I'm going to not think of the shipping for a second. Would I pay $27.11 for each set of these? Yes, I would. They're very cute themes, fun, and they actually color really well, you know, so they don't just swatch well and look good there. They actually work well for coloring. I would. Shipping is where it gets iffy, but I knew how much I was going to pay in shipping before I clicked, you know, yes, because they do let you preview the shipping price, so you knew what you were getting into. But if you want to try something fun and have a monthly subscription of pencils, and you're okay committing to 25 months of a price that will probably fluctuate a few dollars up, maybe down if I'm lucky, but I really don't see that happening. More likely a few dollars up between when I start and finish. I would say it's worth it because I look forward to it. I can't wait to see what set I get next. I almost have to stop watching the other YouTubers who are doing it because it'll be spoiler alert for me. But it's just fun to get 500 pencils. I can't wait to see the finish of them, so I'm okay paying this. However, if you're on a tight budget, or you know, you're looking for a pencil that you can do color alongs with and stuff, this is definitely not something I would recommend buying because you're not going to find many tutorials, if any, using these or color alongs because one, someone has to wait 25 months to get all of them to play around with them. Or at least in my case, I honestly feel right now I need like 4 or 5 more shipments to really start doing a full picture. But also, because they're so hard to get open stock, you're just not going to have as many options out there. That said, if you want like a fun little collector's thing, or you just want something to look forward to in the mail, then totally do it. But it is about 40-ish something US dollars per month, and the other YouTubers who are doing this, that's about what they're paying as well. So like I said, you just have to keep in mind the currency conversion and shipping are what will make it actually not a stable price for anyone who is not paying literally in yen. But that is my initial impression of the Felissimo Tokyo Seeds so far. I plan to update this after I've received a few more shipments. Like I said, every 6 months or so, I'll check in and say, hey guys, you know, here's what I think now, and we'll go over them all. And then I'll also color more pictures. I'm waiting to get my January set, and then I'm going to color a few more. And that way I can show more in my next review. So if you have done the Felissimo Tokyo Seeds, I'd love to know what shipment number you're on. Also let me know if you started in the same order as me. So that is Happy Winter number 1, and then Morning number 2. I'm just curious because it's such a random number to start at 181 out of 500. I'm just so curious. So let me know about that. And also, you know, what you think of the pencils if you have them, and what you would compare them to based on your coloring style. So thank you guys so much for watching this review. Hopefully I gave you all the information you need so that you can decide whether or not to try this out yourself. And until next time, take care.